All right, Kirtland, let's start off with the big question. Ultimately, why was Arizona State the right place for you?
Man, it was everything. There was so much that I could say. But I'll start with the coaching stuff, and Coach Kenny. I think it starts with him. Um, he, the way he carries himself and the way that he runs his team, the expectations that he has, and the way he goes about expecting it and actually like executing that. I think he does a great job in just bringing the right energy, and he's just got a great personality, and he's a great person. And I think he does that really well. And the motto that they have, having more fun working harder than anyone in the country. I really think that I could feel that when I was there. Um, and I think it went through the whole team. Even with working with Coach Reynolds and Coach Amy, and then also my host Jacob Kongaika, all of the boys, and all the coaches. They all just really had that special kind of feel, and just good personalities, good people, and yeah, I think that was the main thing that really made it feel like home for me.
So you mentioned kind of the program culture and everything that Coach Dillingham is really trying to get in place over these last couple of years. And of course, you visited a couple of weeks ago here in Tempe, got to see things up close, meet these people face to face. What were some of the things that really kind of jumped out to you outside of that, that program culture that really kind of also sold you on becoming a Sun Devil?
There was also just the development that I think that Coach Reynolds can do. I think that he can make me a great player. I think he make me a better player than I am now, of course, and he's got the right tools, and he's going to be able to refine me and refine my skills and use my full potential. Um, we've got like 3 years to do that. I've got a redshirt year and two to play, and whether I use that redshirt year or not to develop more, he's really willing and able to work with me on that and just kind of see where I can fit into his team, and hopefully make an impact. In my first year coming in, if that's something that's possible. And I know he believes in me. I know that all the coaches do really believe in me, and I think that's the most important thing. You want to go to a program that is willing to take a bet on you, like take a chance on you. Because of course I'm a newer guy. I've only been playing the game for about a year now, and so there's a lot that I need to kind of get better at and improve on. But they just have so much faith in me, and they see so much potential in me, and it makes me more confident in myself and more confident in my game. And I want to go to a program that looks at me as more than just what I am right now, but as what I can be as a player and as a person, and especially as a leader. I think that they on my visit were talking a lot about how they can see me coming in and making an impact on their team culture too, and upholding that standard. So that was another big one for me, and also just yeah, the rest of the D line room. They were just a good bunch of guys, and I really it's a real cool culture and a family that I want to be a part of. So yeah.
Now, you mentioned that you've only been playing football for a year, and so your path into the game is pretty interesting. So, of course, coming from Australia, have a rugby background, and then I believe your older brother got an opportunity with the Philadelphia Eagles, so he gets signed. So, take our viewers and listeners, through your path into American football, and that ultimately landed you or is landing you in Tempe, Arizona.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Man, that's a long story. But pretty much, my brother, he was recruited by an Eagle Scout, and he was recruited about a year and a half or 2 years ago, in that range. And at the same time, I was playing rugby. It was my first year out of high school, so I was just playing rugby and doing my thing with that. But when I heard that my brother was getting into football, it kind of you know, little bit of a spark in me, made me a bit interested, like, oh, what's going on here? So it started off really small, but after my brother was, getting really good at football and kind of learning the games and eventually getting signed with the Eagles through the international roster spot. For me, that was like a big. It changed my mindset a lot and kind of showed me that there's really a real opportunity in this. And so I continued to look into it and talk to the international scout, Chris Neole, and he introduced me to kind of the coaches at New Mexico Military Institute, the Nemi Broncos, and from there it was history. I just, I was like, yeah, let's do it. And then I flew over last fall camp, um, and yeah, just started learning the game, and little by little, just built my understanding of football. And over the past year and a half, the past 3 semesters, I was able to graduate and work my way um, to the next level. So yeah, here I am.
Obviously, there's some similarities between the two sports, rugby and football. With that, was certainly the physicality jumps out most. In what ways have you found that rugby maybe helped prepare you for that transition to learn, all the nuances that American football has?
Yeah, definitely. There's so much that does translate and correlate, but I definitely think it's not as much as people think.
Mm.
It's totally a different game, but there's things that do translate, and I think that being a player that is coming from a different sport, you have to be able to be very adaptable, and you have to be able to take, what you already know and build off of it rather than start, fresh from the bottom. And so, I try to take things like tackling, just my simple tackling technique or spatial awareness, tracking the hip, things like that. What else? There's a few things, but I think the main thing is that you have all these skills and you have all these things that but you have to be able to build off of it rather than coming in and just losing all those skills. So I think that my coaching staff at NEMI did a great job of kind of taking it a slow start, and just developing me from what I did have. So we had a lot of those drills, those tackling drills where I'd be trying to, transfer what I already know and put it onto the field. Yeah.
What are some, you despite having only played the game for a short time, what are some of the things about American football that you enjoy the most?
And I love everything about it. I fell in love with this game like straight away. So there's so many things like the energy, that feeling that you have when you're you know on the field making a play, or even just when you see your boys and you see your teammates, um, celebrating, and being together like the brotherhood that you have with your teammates. I really feel like it's a stronger, you know, a really strong, great feeling when you're able to be in that environment. Um, Also, just man, I love the physicality of the game. Of course, rugby is a physical game too, so that transfer over was something that I was really excited about, and it's something that I was able to do well and pick up on. And also just the speed of the game. College football is like it's quick, man. It's fast. I remember my first couple practices, like it felt like the plays, like it was just it would stop and it would like start and stop and start, and it just go by, in the blink of an eye. But eventually, as I got more reps and playing more, you're able to kind of um, really learn the game and see more and be able to, become a better player and make plays. But like just that feeling, yeah, just that in-game feeling of just the speed and the physicality. It's a different beast, but I really enjoy it. Yeah.
How would you kind of give yourself a self-scouting report? What kind of skill set do you bring to a football field?
Sure. I have a lot of length and a lot of strength. I think that I'm able to bring a lot of power up front, stopping the run, especially right now. I'm good at it. I think I do a good job of just locking out the O lineman. Setting the edge, not moving, staying put. I don't get pushed around so easily, so I know I'm a good anchor. I can stay in there for a bit and make plays. Um, I'm pretty explosive. I can move off the ball, get off the ball. And one of the things that me and Coach Reynolds are going to be working towards is just building off my pass rush abilities and making sure that my my moves, my hand activity is at its best. And yeah, I think that we're going to just be building on that over the break. Getting my footwork right. Just the small details that I probably would have missed over my development. Um, a year and a half is not much time at all to be playing, especially compared to the guys that have been playing, since they were 7 or 8 years old. So it's something that we're definitely gonna be focused on is my pass rush. Just getting more comfortable with it. Um, I know that I'll be okay in the run for now, so that's definitely what I can bring to the table. But I also think just um, I fit. I think I fit the personality of the room right now. Um, the Sun Devils have a very distinct culture, that you feel when you're inside. It's just like a family in there. Everyone is really supportive and working towards the same goal. Very goal driven, and so I think I fit the culture, and I think I'll be um, a good add to the team. Yeah.
Of course, the ASU defense has had a couple of really strong years under defensive coordinator Brian Ward. With what he likes to do up front with the defensive line, what kind of jumps out to you and like excites you most about playing in his scheme, and where do they see you kind of fitting in along the line?
Yeah. So yeah, Coach Brian Ward, he's a great coach, firstly, and I think he does a great job putting his plays in the best position to make plays. Um, example for last game against the team down south. We had like 100 rushing, like not even 100 rushing yards up front. So he does a really good job just applying the skills and the abilities of the players. So especially for me, him and Coach Reynolds were talking about just having me as a true edge, right? Having me as a true defensive end, having me out there in a five. Um, but all of the D line, they really work in sync together. And you'll see that there'll be some packages where I might come in and build a little bit and tight end down, on third down, and I'll be inside, kind of doing like a little bit of a Watley kind of scheme where he comes and pops inside third down. Um, trying to force the ball out quickly and trying to make a play on the quarterback. And then, first and second base downs, I'll be maybe out there trying to stop the run, trying to, punch the ball out or something. I don't know. So it's just definitely a scheme that I'm willing and able to work with, and he's able to work with me. And I'm just trying to find my way, find my footing into where I can be the best impact. But I definitely think that there is a really big opportunity for me here.
Of course, coming to ASU from a military JUCO in New Mexico, how is that experience? Kind of going through, maybe perhaps the discipline of the military aspect, and then just the junior college path. How do you feel that has shaped you along your journey?
Yeah, it shaped me really well. It did a lot to me. It made me a very much a better person, but also a better player. Um, there's so much things that I had to learn like on the fly. So coming in there, I came in fall camp and have a month to prepare. Not even a month to prepare for the first game. So I'm learning things literally on the daily. Um, with my coach, my head coach, Oliver Sukop, he was also my D line coach, and he was the DC. So I'm working with my head coach constantly, and he's instilling these kind of um, different, just these bases for me to build off of and to learn off of. Because before this, I had no idea what setting an edge was, or what a four eye was, or what a five was. So it definitely on the field, it definitely made me a better player. And then in terms of the JUCO life itself, JUCO was just a different breed. It's totally um, it's eat or be eaten mentality. Everyone is working to get out, and everybody is working as hard as they can. Everyone has so much to lose out there, or so much to gain. So it's like it's definitely a mentality that makes you a competitor for sure. It made me compete way harder than I ever have in my life, and it made me want to work and be a better player, because you're in an environment that everybody is like a dog. You know what I mean? And I know like half of my team could probably play at this level right now too. All the older guys, they do a great job of doing the same things I do. They show up on time. They work as hard as they can. They make plays on the field. So um, yeah, just that JUCO mentality, man. It's definitely, you know, it's definitely a crazy experience, but it definitely made me a better a better athlete in terms of like the mental side of things. And then also just the military aspect. You have, early morning formation. You're waking up before 6. You're getting up before 6 every morning. That's just the norm. You'd be, working out in between classes, and then going, putting up your military uniform, and then running back to the classroom. Um, but just there was a lot of, it was a real military life, man. You got to be marching. You're doing all that kind of, saluting and having your rifle on your shoulder. So there was just so many aspects of the military life that we had to be attentive to and be aware of and kind of be good with, because that stuff really was important. Because if you don't follow the rules, you get in trouble and kind of hold you back from, your football responsibilities. So I really did try my best to be good with that stuff, and I was successful. I had I was the second highest rank in the school, and the highest rank in junior college. So I had a lot of responsibilities, but I think it made me a better person and a better leader. Um, Having such a high rank, um, it was a lot of expectations at time, but that's exactly like football. You got to be smart, you got to be on time, you got to be a good leader, and I was able to transfer those things that I learned in the military life to on the field, and um, just to in life in general. Like it there was a lot to take from it, but I do think that the whole military aspect made me a better player and will give me something to take into this program, and something to give to the guys around me.
The Sun Devils are losing a lot due to graduation along the defensive line. So there's a tremendous amount of opportunity for folks coming in, yourself included. How are you kind of preparing for to seize that opportunity? And what are some of your goals that you've set for yourself and things you'd like to accomplish in this first year in Tempe?
Definitely, yeah. Obviously, a bunch of great players graduating. Losing the top four guys. Excuse me. We're losing the top four guys. The top four DN. So it's like a change of mindset for me. Coming into a new program, the idea isn't now, start from the bottom and kind of work your way through the ranks. There's an expectation of me that, if I come in and they need me to get a job done, and they need me to be a certain kind of leader or a certain kind of player, then I have to fill that role straight away. And that's something that they're very open with me about. It's not a secret that we're losing these guys. This is something that was always known throughout the season, and so in their recruiting process, they're going to be looking for people that can make an impact straight away. And so, with them signing me and kind of putting me in a position now to come in and make that impact, I'm all in. I'm all for it. I know that I have the ability, the potential to be there. The coaches are going to be putting me in a position to do that. They're going to be coaching me, putting me, around the right people. They're going to be having me in the weight room. They're going to be having me, you know, with this nutritionist, eating these foods, or putting me in all these different areas and positions so that I can become what they need for the team. And being now officially committed, and I think that the commitment now is really, what does not only does what does the Sun Devils offer me, but what can I give to them, right? So I'm going to be making sure that me saying committed doesn't just mean that I'm you know I'm just going to come in and do whatever, just mess around. But commitment is um, it's dedication. I'm going to be a dedicated player for the team. I'm going to work my hardest to be a leader, or a starter. So wherever they need me, I'll be that for sure.
And ultimately, next fall, when you're running out in the through Tillman Tunnel, past the Pat Tillman statue and that maroon and gold, what excites you the most about the prospects about being a Sun Devil?
Man, yeah. Of course, running out on the field, that's a great feeling. Just being proud of where you are, being proud of where your feet are, and just coming out and being a player for your teammates and for your coaches, and for the people watching. And I think that I'm really excited to be a Sun Devil. I'm really I wouldn't have it any other way. It's definitely a program and a team, a place, a community that I want to play for, that I want to be a part of, and I really already have a lot of passion and a lot of love and respect, and I think that's just going to grow, throughout my time as a player there. And so I can't wait, man. It's gonna be a hell of a ride, and I'm sure that this will lead me to greater things. But first, just being set and where my feet are, and playing some good football.